of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk Today.
What's on your mind, Cayman? If you're ready to talk, we are ready to listen. Discussing current events and local news, community spotlights, hot topics, listener stories, cultural and historical discussions, environmental issues, fun and lighthearted topics, guest interviews. Cayman, basically anything you want to talk about, we are ready to listen. Here's your guest host,
Charles Glidden.
Coming up next, we're talking agriculture and the big show on Wednesday. And we hear from UCCI and what's happening on campus. Later on, we can talk about what's on your mind with Open Line right here on Talk Today. Stay with me.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Good afternoon and welcome to Talk Today. I'm Charles Glidden. Thank you for checking in and making me a part of your afternoon. Hey, it's another Monday in paradise. Some people might call it a manic Monday, right? But once you're in Cayman, hey, great place to be. I hope everything's going good for you so far today, and we can make the best of it. How was the weekend? Got your batteries recharged? Had a good Valentine's with that special somebody out there? I hope you did. And, hey, Cayman got a very special treat, with the screening of The Bluff. That's the new movie from Frankie Flowers. And, well, the word is, hey, it's a good action movie. And I was supposed to go to that, but my daughter was trying to book, and she informed me that, well, sorry, it's sold out. So, I had to recalculate for the evening, right? And but somehow or other, my daughter still got to go to the show. I'm gonna have to look into that, right? But yeah, so the reviews coming in, it's a good movie, good flick. Lots of action, and lots of elements in there, that Caymanians will be able to connect with. And, of course, The Bluff is set in where else but Cayman Brac. And I guess a lot of good scenes that people will be able to identify with. And it was really a huge privilege for people here in Cayman to be able to get a preview of this movie, because it actually premieres on Amazon Prime on the 25th of February. And apparently, from what I understand, Amazon doesn't let that happen too easily. They're very protective of their intellectual property. So for those of you who got to go and see that preview, hey, you are, a privileged bunch there, because that doesn't happen too often that they let these previews happen. And everybody's looking forward to seeing it, for those who can access Amazon Prime. Well, let's do a short break here. And when I come back, we're going to be talking to the Honorable J. Ebanks and Orville Daniels about the agricultural show. Stay with me.
Did you know that you can send money transfers to financial institutions anywhere in Jamaica with JN Money?
You mean I can send money straight to my account and cut out the middleman?
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. You send your own money to your own account, giving you peace of mind that the money is in your account.
JN Money Transfers to Financial Institution is another convenient service offered by JN Money. You can have this done from any JN Money location. Deposit your money straight to your account without the hassle of asking someone to do it for you. JN Money Transfers to Financial Institutions, making life easier.
The best foundation you can wear is glowing, healthy skin. The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter specialize in enhancing your skin's well-being. Whether you're seeking advanced skincare, including any skin cancers, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drporterkman@gmail.com or call 946-9020. That is 946-9020.
Happy 50th anniversary, Radio Cayman. I remember as a kid listening to the children's program, the lady would ask, "Do you know what the sound is?" And as a kid, I would say out loud, "It's a trumpet." And in response, on Radio Cayman, the lady would say, "Of course, it's a trumpet." And I was so amazed that the radio could hear me. And this is one of the most favorite childhood memory that I have. Thank you for keeping us entertained, and we love you.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back. The agricultural show is on Wednesday, and of course, everybody knows the agricultural show is a big show. Lots and lots of people head out to see what's happening, and trying to take a little rest, but end up going to the show and spending the whole day there. And joining me now are the Minister for Agriculture, the Honorable J. Ebanks, and also farmer and member of the Agricultural Society, Orville Daniels. Gentlemen, good afternoon. Welcome to our studio.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for having us this afternoon.
Minister, what do you think, even though we're not a agricultural society, but what do you think it is about the agricultural show that just draws these huge crowds?
Well, first, let's reverse back. I think we are an agricultural society. We just need to continue to push it more.
Yes.
If you ask the one farmer that does it for a living, he will disagree with you right away on that one. I think what really pushes a lot of people out to come to the agriculture show, it is a family-driven event that gets to showcase a lot of what we have to offer when it comes to agriculture, but also our culture and our heritage in it, and people getting to see what our forefathers used to grow, were able to do with so little what they had at that time. And to continue to see what the society has to offer and what the farming industry in the Cayman Islands have to offer and continue to push, even after what I think this is 57 years.
Actually, it'll be the 58 years.
58 years this year, so 57, 58 going in. Yeah. It's a long time going, and for me, it's exciting to be going to the event and seeing different things and the way that farming is changing, and the way that it's not just about out in the hot sun and with a hoe and pick and doing some of the hardest work. Some of our fellow Caymanians would say that it is from what the years used to be. Technology has grown into farming so much so now.
Yes.
And allowed life to be so much easier in the way that they continue to do farming. I think for me, that's the enjoyment going to it and seeing the changes. And I know some of our delegates over the years that have said that pretty much every time they come back to the agriculture show, they see an improvement in the farming aspects of what we're doing from us, the government, and how we're pushing food security in the Cayman Islands.
Mm-hmm. So you said that the one farmer that does it for a living would disagree with me. We only have one farm?
No. I just meant it as that way. Is that the one particular man that's actually doing farming? Not for a hobby, but as a living. Will disagree with you in that. We have several farmers that are out there that are
their daily life.
That's their daily life, and to continue to be commercial farmers. So I'm not saying that there is only one particular farmer.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
Okay, just for clarity.
Yeah.
So, Orville, you are a farmer.
Yes, sir.
But are you full-time?
No, I do have a landscaping company. Farming is for me. I do livestock, goats and cattle. And then I do have my plantains and bananas and little exotic trees like cashews and star apples and all those stuff that you don't find on an everyday basis. I have mangoes, all those kind of stuff. Yeah, but to go on a wider scale crop-wise, no. I tend to stick to my animals because that's more of not as much care and having a full-time person in there for right now. That's my aim because I'm a commercial farmer, is to increase. But then in the business, like anything else, you have to see what works from what doesn't, and then you sort of manage your stuff and get around it. So, I do it. I do goats, cows. I have plantains, bananas, mangoes, and, I assist with the agricultural society as much as possible to encourage people to get into farming, because it's something that I see that is very, very important to us, and it's going to be even more important in the future.
Well, what's it like for you as a farmer, raising goats and cattle? What's that like?
Okay, listen. To me, farming is therapeutical. That's one good thing about it.
It is.
For when I finish my daily work and having stress with the outside world, I get to my animals and I'm relaxed. I get to plant in a seed and I'm relaxed because you're focusing on something different. And it brings a lot of care. So it teaches you to care and to be, in that mode where you're relaxed. So for me, when I look at it, I do it because there's a love for it. And then at the end of the day, you have to know how to manage to get your benefits out of it, because there is an avenue for farming in Cayman. Most of our stuff that we get is coming from overseas. And we look at what's happening around us climate-wise and in terms of what's happening worldwide, that there are certain produce, whatever, that we can't get. We're not going to get because of stuff having to come into the island. No, I'm not saying that we're going to be 100% self-sufficient, but then we can stop ourselves from starving for maybe 6 months or 3 months or, help.
Mm.
And as I said, for therapy-wise, I would encourage everybody to get into something, because we all have issues, home, work, and as I say, if you have something that you can focus whatever the issue is and go and tend to a seed, a plant, experiment with something. I give you an example. I went to the supermarket and I got some chayote, chocho, and I left them on the counter inside my kitchen in the bag, and they started sprouting. Right? So I said, okay, I left them there for about another 2 weeks. They get to a little height. I took them outside in the shade, leave them, and then I pot them in the shade and gradually bring them into the sun. Cool area, into the sun. Now I actually put them in pots, and I'm setting them on a harbor. and they're actually growing, not bearing it. Now everybody's saying, I tried chocho but didn't get it. But you know what? I'm using the repass from my goats, my cows, manure, and stuff that I break down from plants because they say I have a gardening company. So I don't take vegetations to the dump unless it's necessary. I take it to my land behind the prison and we break that down into compost. So that's what I'm using to farm. So again, as I mentioned before, anything can grow in the Cayman Islands. But then you have to find the nourishment that it needs to actually get the yield that you're expecting. Not everything will bear the way it goes somewhere else. But if you generate your own soil and use technology, use your peels, your banana peels, your eggshells and all those kind of stuff and make your own compost, I guarantee you'll see a big difference.
Well, talking about composting, I mean, trimmings from yards and so forth takes up a lot of space in the landfill. Is there more that we can do with composting in Cayman?
Honestly, I believe yes. Years ago, a gentleman gave me an idea. I mean, financially, yes, it wasn't feasible. But there are machines that you can get that you can actually separate your vegetation from your regular garbage. And you run that machine, you stock it in piles on the side. You run that machine, it picks it up, crush it, put it on the other side. Right, so all the fine stuff that is crushed is going on the other side. And maybe another couple of months, you're going to go back with your machine, run it on the crushed stuff, pick it up, put it back on the next side. So what you're doing is you're actually turning it. Take what's on top, put it at the bottom.
It has to be worked.
Yeah,
right?
so you have to work it over a period of time to make it compost. So that's an avenue, and it's something that you can sell, because right now I do it on my farm, not on regular. I don't turn it as often as it should. So I use a little bobcat with a bucket, and I take what's on top, put it at the bottom, take what's at the bottom. And actually that is what I'm mixing now with my manure for my goats that I put into the same feed bag that I use. I bag them and I stock them for a couple of months. And when I get my compost, I mix that along with the goat manure, the cow manure, and some sand, and some local soil. Yeah.
So, I mean, this is something that we could have, like all these gardening services that we see, that instead of taking their trimmings to the landfill, that they could be coming to a station where it's compost is being created?
Yes, if there's a site, yes. If there's a site. And then you'd have to make sure that there's no plastic, no bottles, no metal, everything is separated.
And also, they got to remember too, there's certain plants that are poisonous. So
yes.
We'll have to be able to separate that. At the agriculture department, I would say that 80% of their soil that they use are all compost.
Yeah.
They've been getting a lot of good topsoil from the NRA department since we've been building some of the road out there.
Yeah.
So anytime we find great red mold and a good topsoil, we give it to the agriculture department so that they can help with what they're doing out there. But majority of the soil that they actually make it there on site at the department.
What is the government outlook, the policy as far as agriculture in the Cayman Islands?
Well, what I would say is, when you're talking about the government outlook, the government's outlook is to protect its people, and the first thing that's come to my mind is, when I say that, is food security. We see everything that's happening around us, and we need to continue to work to where we're going to be able to get ourselves more food efficient. When it comes to helping the Cayman Islands, we have to try to diversify where we get products from, and not getting it all from one direction. Is another thing that we need to continue to look at. But we started off with some of the programs and looking at some of them that we think that where we can help sustain ourselves very quickly, and the poultry section was one of those.
Yes.
That we thought was very easy. I think the goats is another one that we can maintain ourselves very quickly in. And maybe the swine is probably going to be the next one. I think the beef cattle is going to be one of the hardest ones, because it's a larger animal to raise, and it takes a lot more agricultural land space to be able to raise the amount of cattle that we would need. But not just saying that that's something that we've put one side, because we realize that that is something that the Cayman Islands tradition farmers have always raised cattle.
Yes.
On the island. So we're going to continue to help the cattle farmers in any direction, any way we can. but it's going to be one that's going to be a lot more heavier to help sustain the country on it. But again, we go back to looking at what vegetables we could work with right now, what fruits we can work with right now. Some of the stuff we're seasonal. When it comes to avocados and stuff like that, we have several different types of avocados on island. We have some large farmers that have actually went into avocados. Some farms having close to maybe 300-400 avocado plants on their farm. Probably one of the larger ones is probably going to be in East End, where Mr. Arden McLean and Mr. Alti is working up there. Has a very beautiful farm that they've started to clear and put large investments in and building out a section of some of the most gorgeous avocado trees you can see, and mango trees and everything else. And you look at traditions like some of the older farmers like Mr. Willie, that has some trees that are 30 years old now, and how many mango trees and how many pear trees that they've planted over the years and weathered the storms and everything else. But it is, from the government aspect of it, is to make sure that our farmers survive and what they need. One of the things that I'm seeing challenging the farmers right now, and that is just because we're pushing them more into the grocery stores, is making sure that they have liability insurance and hurricane insurance. And then I'm also expanding this to try to see how we can cover our farmers under one umbrella, under the society itself, where the society gets their liability insurance that would cover all farmers that are under them and be able to cover those for hurricane catastrophe. And then also how we can help get labor insurance for them, for their labor helpers to be able to lower the cost when it comes to agriculture for the farmers. So this is something that I'm working on right now with my team. I've just actually asked one of my members of my agriculture team for an update just now on it, where we're at with the insurance companies and how we're going to be able to work this, because the biggest threat to any farmers is hurricane season.
Yeah.
Right? And just having that protection for them is going to be so much better for them, because I know some farmers that do mids of $300,000-$400,000, $500,000 in mango season off of mangoes alone. And then that also goes huge numbers when it's in avocado season. And when they get hit by a hurricane and they lose that crop for that season, that's a big damage to that farmer for what he's lost. But one of the things we've continued to do is to collect a lot of data from our farmers, knowing what they have out there, the amount of how many mango trees. So the agriculture department can give you the dates and the stats on pretty much everything that all of our farmers have out, and how many mango trees we actually have out there, how many pear trees, how many this farmer's doing what, how many acreages that he's working on, how many heads of cattle he has, how many heads of goats, how many heads of swine, everything. We've been starting to collect more driven data, because we want to make sure that we're exactly what we started off this one. We want to make sure that it's not a hobby, that we're trying to push this as a business and to make sure that it can be a lucrative business for our farmers to help us get where we want to go.
Well, you quoted a figure of $400,000. That's one farm taking that in from a season of mango?
Yes, sir. So there's money to be made in the farming industry. And as we continue to look around, to continue to push, and now we're getting a lot more individuals into our container farming. And now with the container farming, we're starting to grow things that our forefathers would never have thought we'd be able to grow in the Cayman Islands.
So that's a controlled environment inside of that container.
That is correct, sir. That is correct. So now, if we have to make it as cold as Canada in that container, we can do that.
They're doing hydroponics.
To produce what they need to produce in Canada, we can be able to produce that. And one of the good things, and one of our farmers too, is pushing a lot of mushrooms, and we've agriculture in my ministry has been sponsored a few events where we've brought farming to the tourism market now and trying to expose agriculture a lot more to the tourism industry. And if when you go out there, a lot of the hotels, a lot of the chefs out there didn't realize that there was so much stuff that they could actually have gotten locally. And when a lot of people are saying that they're cooking these little dishes at the cook-off, that realize that almost a good portion of that was all from local farmers.
Yes.
Like, you know, the
spices.
Yes, there's this one hamburger now that we're eating with from a mushroom. And the mushroom, everybody thinks it's a beef patty, but it's actually not. It's actually a mushroom and it's grown here on the Cayman Islands. So, you know, we're hydroponics is another one that we've started to push. You know, we're going to be able to look at where we're going to try to see where we're going to be able to bring more hydroponic towers in and be able to sell them to.
Explain that a little bit about how does that work?
So, go ahead, Art.
Growing in water instead of soil. Yeah, so you have tubings. My system was have PVC pipes with holes in it, and you germinate the plant and you stick them into the water, and you have a system which uses fertilizer, and you run it through. Its system goes from one to a drain, then it pumps the water back up top. So you always have water going, circling, but then you'll have to use air condition. You need a cool temperature to get 100% production when you look at it.
So we do a lot of lettuce around?
Lettuce, yeah. If you go into the supermarket, sometimes you see the lettuce in a little container with a root in it and the water is still in it. That's hydroponic. So there's a lot of stuff here that goes. Lettuce, I don't know if they're doing cabbage, but I know for sure lettuce is being done here.
Yeah, I think I saw a lot of that at the salad bars during this bad weather here that the ships couldn't get in.
Well, that's a different topic too that we need to talk about too, right? But I mean, it shows you, right, why we need to push agriculture because you know just one little nor'wester actually kept the ships away for it was almost a back-to-back nor'wester that we had that kept the ships off. And again, that actually trickles down to the shelvings and not being able to have food on there.
Yeah.
But the hydroponics is a great way to go. And, you know, when we first started this, we implemented this in pretty much every school. So we actually gave a tower to every single school to engage with the kids. Even in Cayman Brac also, and some of the private schools in Grand Cayman also got to, where we wanted to engage and have the kids more involved in the hydroponics and to be able to just... you know, get the idea that, you know, the stigma of the old tradition farming and how easy hydroponics is and how much faster things could actually grow in hydroponics. And
does that traditional image kind of make young people turn off from wanting to be farmers? I mean,
I would tell you, yes, sir, it does. It does. If you ask a lot of younger ones now, they said, boy, they grew up and they know what their grandfather went through. Boy, that's a hard job. And I can tell you, I take my hats off to every farmer.
Yeah.
Farming is not easy at all. I always say farming has all the elements that it could have against it.
Yeah, even as a business, you have to love it, right?
Yes, yes.
Well, whatever you do when you look at it, anything you do in life as a business, there are challenges. So, you know, I mean, not only farming. But what I realized that people look down on farming. You know, it's people think, okay, if I'm not in the bank or in an office with a tie, you know, it's nothing. I'm not somebody. But when I look back at it, you can be a lawyer, you can be a doctor, you can still be a farmer, right? Farming is just, to me, something that's physical. You know, it's more when you get the theoretical part of it. Yes, it's good, but you don't have to go to school to learn farming. You can do it practically. You learn as you go along. But if you go to school and get the background knowledge, that's 100% plus. But when I look at it, I love to cook. And if I'm cooking and I go into my backyard and I pick my thyme, my scallion, you know, my okras, my beans, my tomatoes, when you're eating, it's like there's so much enjoyment. If the food is not even nice, it's going to taste good because you know what you're eating is what you produce, that you can go outside and pick. So what my challenge is, and what I was going to say to the minister, is to see if we can implement agriculture into our school system on a daily, like a curriculum, so even a half-hour session every day for each class. Because I take care of Red Bay School and have 2 guys full-time with my gardening company, and we're building and has grow boxes in there. We just put in maybe about another 10 grow boxes, 16 feet by maybe 10 feet. So we put about 10. So we took maybe about 100 feet of space and we built grow boxes in there.
What are they growing at Red Bay?
Actually, we have, right now there's cabbage, there's scallion, there's peppers, there's bananas, there's plantains, and we're going to expand on that. Actually, I'm donating a goat to them. So we're going to look at space. Hopefully the system will allow that so we can have a goat. But my take is to get the kids involved. Children learn what they learn. So if you can get this class session, you go out every half hour, maybe a day this class, and you spend a half hour digging and planting. Because you're going to have to get your hands...
exposure.
You get your hands dirty in agriculture. So, not something you can use your gloves if you want to, but it's not intimate to me. When
you got to feel that. You got to feel that.
Yeah, the soil between your nails and all that kind of stuff. And the mess when you're dealing with the animals, you have to clean the mess. All that kind of stuff you have to learn.
I got to stick a pin right there because I got to get a break in here. Be right back.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Caymanbrack and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
This Ash Wednesday, February 18th, make plans for the 57th Annual Cayman Islands Agriculture Show. From 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., it's a full day of food, farming, culture, and community at the grounds in Lower Valley. Hosted by the Cayman Islands Agricultural Society and the Ministry of Agriculture. It's family fun with Caymanian pride and prizes to be won. Follow Cayman Agriculture on Facebook and Instagram for details.
Celebrating 50 years of broadcasting in the Cayman Islands. This is Radio Cayman, 89.9 FM.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back. I'm talking to the Honorable J. Ebanks. He's the Minister responsible for Agriculture, and also Orville Daniels, who's a member of the Agricultural Society and is a farmer himself. And the Agricultural Show is coming up on Wednesday. We got the day off, and everybody can head out there to the agricultural grounds. Orville, what are some of the things that people can expect to see when they come out to the Agricultural Show?
Okay, Charlo, let me remind the folks that's going to be our 57th annual agriculture show. Actually, 58 years of celebrating agriculture, but 1 year we didn't have it. I think that was after Hurricane Ivan. So they didn't count that year as, but we're still doing 58 years, but we're celebrating 57, all right? But as farmers, there's a lot of stuff we have out on display. Cattle, we have goats, pigs, chickens. There's a lot of produce, vegetables, from cucumbers, cabbage, lettuce, sugarcane, yam, bananas, plantains, fruits, you name it. Some of everything is going to be there. And what's impressing about the agriculture show, at this time of the year, it's not production season at this time of the year, but it's always good that in Cayman we have something to show on agriculture, because the season for some things is not always here, and we're not having it during the time where you can find, like, for example, mangoes. Mango is like May, June, July, August for mangoes. Some mangoes come in September, October. That's the late ones. Some is early, some is late. I think they have the Keith that comes in September, October. So it's the different varieties. But there's a lot of other things you can see, and I encourage people to come out to the show and see what's there, because it's inspiring when you see some of the breed of goats that we have and the size, and the breed of cows, cattle that we have and the size. People don't believe, wow, this is happening here in Cayman. I've heard that. I've heard that before.
They can't believe all the produce that they see.
The produce that we have here and the type of animals that we have here, the size of pigs and goats. People tell me, oh, the biggest goat I've ever seen is here in the show. And I sure know, I've heard that. I raised a goat that was 400 pounds.
Big fella.
That looked more like a young cow calf. I had one I butchered December. It was 201 pound. And that's a boar and a Nubian mix. Right, so the boars are actually short and stocky. Nubians are tall and long. So I crossbreed. So when you crossbreed a short, stocky goat and end up with a long, tall, fat goat, then, the height, the weight, the length is there. So you're going to increase in your volume of meat and all that kind of stuff. You butcher the goat and you're getting 106 pounds of meat. That's incredible. Normally a goat, you get 50, 60 pounds of meat. But if you're getting 100 pounds of meat out of a goat, that's to me, that's incredible.
So there's a horse show or something?
Yeah, there's going to be horse shows, plant sales, food sale. The horse show is, I can't remember exactly, it's Miss, the lady who used to be down in Newlands, Nikki. They're going to be doing the horse show. They're going to be jumping, pony rides, petting zoo for the goats. I have 5 baby goats. It's actually going to be a year in April coming that I have as pets, so the kids have access to play with. You can feed them. I mean, they'll follow you around the grounds because that's the way I have them. That I can just tell them, come, let's go, and they'll walk with me. I'm just hoping that we would find some really obedient people like that, like those animals.
Good luck.
yeah, but you know what? But as I said, guys, come out. There's going to be a lot of entertainments. We do have local food, as we mentioned. We're going to have Jamo, which is James Miles. He do his yearly culinary cook-off. A lot of kids are in that. That's something I encourage too because I love food. I love to cook. I love to eat. And I would love to see more local youngsters getting involved in culinary art and chef and all that kind of stuff. So Jamo is taking his time to teach these young people. Guys, we have a lot of hotels and restaurants around here who will need your service in a couple of years from now. They need it now. But if we don't have the chefs to do it, then you're going to have to get someone from somewhere else to do your job that you should be doing here. And again, when you look at people coming into the island, then it takes away our native stuff that we're used to, our cultural things, because they're bringing in what they know from overseas. And we need to get what we know here to keep it up into the public, like our tradition.
Now, we can be sure that the crowd is going to be big because it always is.
Oh, yes.
How are you handling parking and where people, you have some, like a park and ride kind of operation going on?
Yes, we do have parking areas at Theoline McCoy Primary School, up in Bordentown, Miss Jonah Clark. That's the one in Savannah. I think there's a one called Jason Avenue. And yes, and then we have shuttles that's going to taking you from those areas to the grounds and from the grounds back to those areas.
Also the Church of God multi-purpose hall
on
Shamrock Road.
That's the one in front of Rankin's business place there. And yeah, so those are just some of the areas. I take it, guys, and I encourage you that I think this year is going to be super comfortable in terms of traffic comparing to last year and the year before. Last year it wasn't as bad as the year before, and I think this year is going to be better. And I must say thanks to the minister and the people who are doing the road works, because that roundabout there in Agricola Drive at the entrance there from Shamrock Road, I think that's going to
improve things.
I think it's going to be a big difference.
I am keeping my fingers crossed to put it to the test on Wednesday. What I can say, it has made a world of a difference now since it's already been in with moving the traffic from off of the highway coming back onto Shamrock Road. It's been a big difference. So the big test now is actually Agriculture Day, and seeing how the traffic's going to be able to be moved around on Agricola Road and moving back and forth. But over the years we've seen the pinch points and know exactly what's been causing a lot of it. And, the police continues to work and make it as best as they can. So we really think that this road, and I want to give a shout out to all of the NRA workers that have been out there working hard, even on Saturday and Sundays to get this road done, because I've had them under the crunch saying, hey, this has to be completed for agriculture show.
That's the deadline.
That is the deadline, and I must say they came in about a week before the deadline. So
very good,
guys. Thank you for all of the hard work that you guys have been doing out there. I tell you that everybody that has traveled that road is saying that it's making a world of a difference already.
Well, you have some big prizes.
Oh yes, right. Oh yes. Let me just quickly remind you, Charlie, before we get down to the prizes, that the gates open at 7, it closes at 6. The theme for agriculture this year is going to be Harvesting Harmony, Caymanian Culture and Agriculture. All right, we're going to have the official opening ceremony with the horse parade, and that's going to be, involving the governor and all that kind of stuff, where we have the ringing of the bell. For entertainment-wise, we do have the kids zone sing-along with Isadora. We have the inflatables, kids' toys. Novelties, the baby show, which is a really popular one. Return of the horse show that we're having here.
And the dunk tank also.
And also the dunk tank. And you know what? I tried it at the last event when we have a prize giveaway for last year agriculture show. The bull. You're going to have to ride that bull.
Ride the bull, yeah.
Miguel was kind of lenient with me. He didn't put it up at the full throttle.
He gave you an easy ride?
Oh, yeah, I gave an easy ride. But you know what? That's fun, guys. And, it's something you pay a little donation and you get the chance to ride.
Yeah. Someone is asking here to repeat where they can get the buses again.
Okay, we have the bus
times. I don't know if you have the times.
Oh, sure. Okay.
So the times are for the bus rides are from 7 a.m. to 6:30. So it's going through the whole time, and it's the Joanna Clark Primary School in Savannah. It's Jason Avenue on Shamrock Road, the Theoline McCoy Primary School in Bordentown, and the Church of God Multipurpose Hall on Shamrock Road.
All right,
all right, and tickets are still $25. And as you mentioned before the prizes, you get a chance to win two $10,000 prize. So you can win all 210 if you buy.
It's two ticket prices, right?
Oh, well, 3. You got first, second, third.
But I mean, it's one if you want to go in the raffle, and one.
Oh yes. Okay.
Yes. Just want to enter. Yes.
Yeah. If you want to enter, I think it's for sure. It's $10, just a regular entry. Kids, 12.
Yeah, it's $5.
$5 for kids, 12, and then if you're below 2, you're free. 12 and under is $5. If you're below 2, you're going for free. So babies, so all those who are above 2, I know you didn't want to get that old this year. Wish you were still 2. But then, as I said, guys, you get a chance to win 2 $10,000 prizes and $250,000 compliments of A.L. Thompson.
2,500.
2,500, yeah. Not 250,000. Wow, that would be big.
Alti just trying to pull his ear out.
Like, wow. I sometimes I wish.
Who signed up for that?
I wish that was the prize, though, because you know what? I think we'll get a lot of more people. But sometimes, because I know years ago they used to give away a vehicle.
Yeah.
Sometimes people want the cash to do whatever they feel.
Yeah, it's a $2,500 gift certificate from E.L. Thompson, and then also there's a $1,000 E.L. Thompson gift certificate.
Right, and then plus the $10,000.
Well, I'm sure people are going to be out in great numbers for the show on Wednesday, and I wish you all the luck with having a fantastic show.
Yep, and let me just quickly mention...
quick.
Okay, we're out of time. News. Okay, Cayman Islands Humane Society Pet Adoption, they will be there giving away puppies, allowing you to adopt puppies. But again, guys, when you get them, care them. We have the Regeneration Band, Impulse Band, Coco Red, Backbeat, and Jordan Gray High School cheerleaders. Plus the vendors that we're going to have. And I want to say thanks to our sponsors like Home Gas and all the guys, Pepsi, all of the guys who are behind that, the Department of Agriculture, Hazard Management, Cayman Islands, the Seafarers Association and Fairweather Foundation, and Department of Environment, Department of Environmental Health. And thanks to all the people who are going to be coming out. Yeah.
Well, Honorable J. Ebanks and Orville Daniels, thank you so much for dropping into the studio here and telling us about the agricultural show and agriculture in Cayman in general.
Thank you for
having
me.
Have a good afternoon.
Thank you, sir.
It's news time.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
With your latest headlines, I'm Elizabeth Charles. The Registered Land Amendment Bill 2026 has been formally gazetted as of Friday, the 13th of February, setting out major updates to the country's land and mortgage framework. The Ministry of Planning says the reforms aim to improve transparency and fairness in secured lending, especially for owner-occupied homes. The bill introduces clearer disclosure rules before loans are signed, stronger communication between lenders and borrowers, and defined notice periods before any enforcement begins. It also updates how foreclosed properties are listed and valued for sale using recognized systems and independent valuations. In other news, new evidence in the case of a man who has spent 23 years in prison for murder suggests he was framed by police, BBC Panorama has found. According to the BBC, police knew the testimony of the main prosecution witness in the trial of Omar Benguit for the murder of South Korean student John Ok-shin was directly contradicted by CCTV evidence they learned. A total of 13 other witnesses used to support the prosecution case have now told the BBC that the police pressured them to embellish their statements or lie in court. And former U.S. President Barack Obama has clarified that the chances Earth has been visited by aliens is, quote, low, after comments he made about extraterrestrial species caught attention online. They're real, but I haven't seen them, he told American podcast host Brian Tyler Cohen during an interview published on Saturday. Obama has since said his comments were made in line with, quote, the spirit of the speed round of questions, adding that statistically the chances are that life is out there, but he saw, quote, no evidence while president. Those are the latest headlines. I'm Elizabeth Charles.
Radio Cayman. More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
At HSA, we strive to provide the highest standard of care with compassion, integrity, and dedication. And so we say thank you, Cayman, for continuing to make us the most awarded organization on island by voting us the best of Cayman Islands in 9 medical categories. Your support reminds us why we do what we do, to serve the Cayman community with kindness and excellence. To find out more about our award-winning services, visit hsa.ky. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
The Bogue is the 8-kilometer or 4,000-foot channel from the western point on Cayman Brac to Point Asan on Little Cayman. On the 2nd of May, 1987, Jeff Miller crossed the Bogue in 2 hours and 36 minutes. He was later nominated for the Udovan Award for Most Adventurous Swim by the Marathon Swimmers Federation for a circumnavigation swim around St. John Island. Since then, many swimmers, including a former Cayman Islands governor, have continued to swim the Bogue, with subsequent charity events being created.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back, and let's take a quick look at the weather here. The current temperature here in Georgetown, 84 degrees, feels like 92. That cool weather is gone, folks. It's out of here. 84 degrees out there, and the winds out of the south, that's southeast at 6.5 knots, and the forecast calls for showers this afternoon and straight through to tonight. Winds will be light and variable, seas slight, waves running just at 1 to 3 feet, and a look at the radar shows us, we got some rain in the Cayman area, so, good chance of getting a shower or two. And in this segment, we're going to be hearing about the Distinguished Lecture Series, all a part of UCCI's 50th anniversary. And the lecture that we're going to focus on this afternoon is called Imported Labor. Does that sound like a familiar subject? Imported labor, implications for Caymanians' long-term economic and human development. And that lecture is going to be delivered by Mushfiq Mubarak, Professor of Economics and Management at Yale University. Also in the studio with me, along with Professor Mubarak, is our friend Dr. Livingston Smith. He's the Provost and Vice President of Academic Affairs and Workforce Education at UCCI. Gentlemen, good afternoon. Welcome to the studio.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Delighted to be here.
So this is the lecture that's kicking off for 2026?
Right. So remember, we have been in celebration mode for a while.
Yeah.
50th anniversary, 50 years of UCCI. And we've had this lecture series going on for some years now. But this year is particularly intriguing because we are focusing on a topic that is of special relevance to the islands. And you have just mentioned that the topic is imported labor, implications for Caymanians' long-term economic and human development. So these lectures are intended to bring to the campus persons who are of particular people who have the expertise in areas that we think are important. So we bring them in to delve into these topics, to bring a kind of dispassionate way of looking at issues, look at the facts, marshal the figures, do comparative analysis, and then to engage us in some discussion. So Prof. Mubarak joins a long list of eminent persons who we have had on campus, prime ministers and persons like that. So we're very honored to have Prof. Mubarak. He's a distinguished professor of economics at Yale, and he's a globally known person. And so we thought that this person would be ideal to address this topic. But more than that, he also has some very, very deep links to the Cayman Islands. So I'm very delighted to introduce him and to say to the public, please don't miss it. It's tomorrow at 6 o'clock on campus at the Sir Vassal Johnson Hall. It is free to the public. Even if you haven't RSVP'd, still come. It's free and open. It will be an intriguing lecture, and you'll be able to ask questions and be able to even stay behind to rap with the professor.
Now, well, let's hear about these Cayman links.
Oh, yes, of course.
First thing.
That's the most important thing in a small island. So my link goes back about 30 years. I've been married to a Caymanian for 30 years, so I guess it goes back a little bit longer than that. Thank you. Yeah, we're celebrating our 30th this year. And, of course, my children are Caymanian. They both worked here. One of them last summer worked at the Department of Environment and maintains links there. And you know, we come here often. And I chose this particular topic because, you know, I know the island well, and I know what the politically charged issues are, and this is certainly one of the most discussed topics.
Oh yeah, tell me about it.
And there's a lot of passionate commentary on all sides, right? Because now we have about half the population, a little bit more than half the population who are non-Caymanian, right? And within the set of Caymanians, you have business owners who are hiring immigrant workforce, right? You also have all of us consumers who are constantly interacting with immigrant workers, right? But then you also have Caymanians, young Caymanians looking for jobs, right? Who express a lot of frustration about the the presence of immigrants here, right? There's also Caymanians who've expressed frustration about what is this doing to our culture.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If you follow like the chatter on social media, etc. Right?
I mean, a complaint that I hear a lot right here on this program, people call in and voice their frustrations, as you say, is being able to break through, especially to higher levels of employment. You know, that proverbial glass ceiling.
Yes.
Do you observe that?
Yes. So what I'd like to do in this lecture is to bring in some of the international evidence. So while my links to Cayman Islands are deep, right, my research and scholarly work actually covers other countries. So I've studied effects of immigration on receiving countries like the United States, right? But I also study the effects of emigration with the E on sending countries like Philippines, Bangladesh, India, Malaysia, etc. Right? I mean, these are also important sources of immigrant workers here. Right? So what I'd like to do in this lecture is to bring that international evidence to bear, not my work, but also the work from others in the literature, right, on what like sort of large sample data tells us about this. The issues are certainly complex. So it's not, you know, if you come tomorrow, it's not like I'm going to give you a magic bullet or a final answer that, yes, here is your optimal immigration policy, right? Because that optimal kind of depends on your perspective, right? What a small business owner in Cayman wants, right, versus what a financial services director wants, right, versus what a young Caymanian just graduating from college wants, that's going to be different, right? And we need to figure out ways to have those conversations, right? But what I'm trying to do, my approach here is going to be to bring in some data and evidence and research, right, on these questions, because a lot of the discussion I see right now, both in social media but also even in my family, right, it happens on the basis of kind of emotions, right? Whereas there are costs and benefits to having more immigrants around, and we need to think carefully about the costs and benefits. Right?
So it sounds to me like what you're saying is we're not that unique when it comes to this question.
That's right. There are many immigrant receiving countries in the world, right? Now, there is a little bit of uniqueness, so let me point that out, right? So when we talk about, of course, the United States is also a large immigrant destination, right? And we've and Cayman is closely linked to the United States, so people here are well aware of all the discussion and difficulties that the United States is facing right now, political difficulties, right? The country is quite bifurcated in its views about immigrants, right? But a difference for the Cayman, so that, what we learned from the U.S. experience going back, now a couple of 100 years, right? That's important. That's going to be informative. But an important difference is that Cayman is a small place, right? The United States is a very large place, right? And therefore, how we think about what is the right level of immigration into the Cayman Islands.
But you can absorb that.
Exactly. Your absorptive capacity is different because it's a small place, right? So we need to think about that carefully. We also need to think about, what types of education skill sets are Caymanians getting, right? And are they going to be able to compete? And here's a simple story about absorption, right? So when you have a large place, right, and immigrants come in, they don't necessarily have a huge effect on, say, housing prices. Whereas in the Cayman Islands, when you have immigrants coming in, and we're now talking about 50% of the population, right? Whereas in the U.S., all hell breaks loose when immigrant percent of the population reaches 13, 14%, which is where we are right now in the U.S., right? And so, of course, in a small country with limited space, right, with so many immigrants, 50% of the population, that's going to have an effect on housing prices as well. So therefore, it's going to have an effect on people's quality of life, how long they have to commute from East End or Bodden Town to get to work in Georgetown, right? So that becomes a much more important issue. So in tomorrow's lecture, what I'd like to do also is not only to talk about immigration, but to talk about the other politically charged topics that immigration relates to.
So do you think by using the data that you have, even though it's not on Cayman itself, that we can take some of that data and apply it here and learn about how to manage this in a better way?
Yes, I'm willing to say with a lot of confidence that for any topic, especially this one, but for any topic, data research, people who spend their lifetimes sort of, studying an issue with large sample data, that has a lot to teach us. And it should not be of course, Caymanians' personal experiences also matter a lot, right? But it should not be the only thing that you look at, right? But it should be one of the things. That's why we always look at history, which is we have a lot to learn from the experiences of other countries who've gone through the same thing, right? And I mentioned the U.S. a few times, but let's talk about other smaller countries, right? The United Arab Emirates, or Qatar, where the World Cup football was a few years ago, right? These countries have up to 90% of their population, 85 to 90% of their population, who are immigrants, right? How do they manage that? Okay. That's a different model, right? So that's another data point to learn from, right? Because it turns out their notion of immigration, who can become an Emirati in the United Arab Emirates, right, versus who's there as a guest worker, those notions are very different, right? The laws are very different, right? So there's, of course, definitely sort of legal innovations and procedural innovations that are happening on immigration around the world, right? And we should have that broad view and take the ideas that work well, and let's not also waste time on ideas that have not worked well in other countries.
Because you can use those examples also.
Exactly.
Because that's into the data.
Yep. And those countries, in some ways, in terms of their size, are a lot more similar to the Cayman Islands than Canada or the U.S. is, right? Mm. Whereas one of the reasons to have this lecture, and I'm glad that Dr. Liv and UCCI allowed me to speak on this topic, is that, what we hear, just in the media, etc., in Cayman, is a lot of what's happening in the U.S. and U.K., right? I mean, of course, immigration has been in U.S. and U.K., that's been in the media a lot, right? But those stories or those policies may not be the most fitting for the Cayman Island situation.
Out of my curiosity, I want to ask, how easy is it for a guest worker in Qatar to become a citizen?
Not at all easy. Not at all. So the reason, so here's a simple insight. Okay, so we'll now start with some of the lecture topics for tomorrow. So the reason why all hell breaks loose in the U.S. or U.K., right, or Canada, whenever you see too many immigrants, right? As I said, 14%. This has been a historical regularity.
Which is almost like a drop in the bucket, right? For the population way.
And it's almost like also a social science law of some kind that in history, over the last 100 years in the U.S., whenever the immigrant share of the population has approached 14%, right, people have reacted like, what the hell is going on here, right? And that, compared to 50% in Cayman or 55% in Cayman, that's small, right? So why does that happen? Whereas, as I already mentioned, in Qatar, United Arab Emirates, they can manage 85-90% of the people. Okay? The important difference is, in the U.S., when somebody comes in as an immigrant, right, there is a path to residency and citizenship. So then you start having to share Americans, native-born Americans, right, start having to share their political rights with a new group of people, right? So then they get really scared about that, right? Whereas in Qatar and UAE, there's a very different social contract, okay, which is that, this person who's coming in, immigrant might not be the right word. We should probably use a different word to explain the difference. It's like a guest worker.
Right.
The person's going to come in. There is absolutely no path for them to become an Emirati or Qatari citizen in the future, right? Except for very, very exceptional cases.
They could be there for 20 years.
They could be there for, in fact, I come from South Asia, from Bangladesh, right? And Qatar, UAE, Saudi Arabia, these countries have contributed a lot to development in South Asia by allowing these guest workers to come in, because they come in and they remit money back, right? So something similar to what you see here. Like if you go on Friday evenings at the Western Union at Foster's, right, you'll see a line of Filipinos and Indians who are sending money back home. Right, that's what
the Jamaicans.
And Jamaicans, of course, that's much longer. That's a much longer tradition of that, So then, those remittance income matters a lot for those countries, like Philippines, right? The remittance to GDP ratio in the Philippines is 28%. right? That's a huge source of the economy. Just like, you think of what's the big industry here, right? The industry here is like tourism, financial services. In Philippines, the big industry is migrant worker income, right? A big export is we export human beings. In Bangladesh, where I come from, our biggest export is like ready-made garments, like the shirt you're wearing is probably made in Bangladesh. Second best export is people like me.
So they're exporting labor and we're importing.
Exactly. That's right. Yeah, it's just like, when you think about international trade in goods, you can also think about trade in people and services, right? So that's the political difference, right? In the U.S., you people get scared that these people are going to become a U.S. citizen and then they'll have all the rights I will, right? Whereas the sheikhs in Emirates, they're not scared about that because, and let me tell you the story. So my family, right? Many members of my family worked in the Gulf countries, this Gulf Cooperation Council countries in around Saudi Arabia. And they spent, my uncle spent their entire lifetime there, right? From the age of, say, 28 to the retirement age of, say, 65, okay? And at the age of 65, the answer was, now it's time for you to go, right? And then when their children turned 18, right, they weren't necessarily allowed to stay. So that's a very different way of handling immigrants, right? That's not, by telling you that story, it's not like I'm endorsing that that's the right way, because we have values, right? In Cayman, we have a set of values that may be different from the values in Saudi Arabia.
And of course, we have the UK saying, well, human rights, etc. You can't just let people stay and then
exactly.
You got to go.
Yeah. So we need to then think about what is the right type of immigration policy that is consistent with our values, right? Which may not be American values or Canadian values or British values or Saudi or Qatari values. Right?
So, Dr. Livingston, who would you like to see coming to this lecture?
I would like to see everybody come, because just listening to Prof. Mubarak speak about these different elements of this topic, it cuts across the society. Everybody has an interest in this. So we have made a distinct push to have policymakers come. We want educators, we want our students to come, we want our persons community, business persons need to come. Because what we hope to achieve in giving this lecture is that we want to stimulate that conversation around it and to ensure that the issue is dealt with in a way that looks at the figures and the facts and in a way that is comparative. All right? So once you begin to look at it in a comparative way, then your vision widens. And you begin to understand similarities and differences. And as he mentioned, we might be better able to work through now what do we really want to happen here. All right? So the university has a mandate to do that. We have to be the location for those kinds of discussions. All right? But it has to be done in a way that marshals the evidence and the facts and the data. And that's what we're trying to do here. But I want to also mention that when we have the lecture, there's a section, Charles, called the Q&A. So we want to start exactly at 6 o'clock because we want to ensure that the lecture is given enough time to be delivered. We want to ensure now that we open the floor to question and answers, because from my experience, that's where the real discussion takes place, when questions come, and because persons are going to have questions. And here's where now we can have that kind of discussion and the flow of ideas across the hall. Of course, we're going to have refreshments after, so you can stay behind the refreshments and just continue the discussion on an ongoing basis. Charles, allow me to just put one plug here too, even though we're talking with the lecture. I know the time goes so fast, but when you come tomorrow, we'll also let you know that we have a number of short courses for the taking. You know, we have this section of the university called the Workforce Readiness Center, where we offer short courses, 7-week courses. And these courses begin on March 2. So if you are interested in taking a short course, let me just go through with you some of these courses that you can decide to take on weekends. We have hedge funds administration, Cayman heritage. We have a course in elderly care, health aid course, AI foundations, concepts, tools, and applications, captive insurance management, digital skills for the modern workforce, Excel essentials for the workplace, the leadership journey, leading with character, courage, and conviction, practical cybersecurity. We have a new course called Introduction to Data-Driven Decision Making. We have Introduction to Object-Oriented C++ Programming. We have this course that should be of great interest, Social Media Content Creation, Skills, Strategy, and Storytelling. We have Mindfulness and Meditation for Stress Reduction. That's quite necessary. We have 21st Century Workforce Readiness in the Cayman Islands. And we have Talent Identification, Development, and Advancement in the Cayman context. So when you come, you can also sign up if you want and be part of this extra weekend initiative. But back to the lecture, it is crucial that you come tomorrow. It's an exciting topic. It's a topic that has the interest of everybody who lives here.
So starting time again tomorrow evening?
6 o'clock, 6 p.m. Come on down to UCCI. It will be held in the Sir Vassal Johnson Hall, and we can accommodate everybody.
Professor, let me close out by asking you, I know you said your data is from other places, but with your familiarity with Cayman, when you look at what is going on, what, in a nutshell, more or less, what do you see the situation and how do you assess it?
Right. That's an excellent question, $1 million question. Yeah. Probably would take me an hour to answer, but let me see what I can do in a nutshell. Right. Okay. So, these issues are all interlinked. We're talking about immigration, but as I already mentioned, house prices are interlinked. Like your cost of living is linked to that as well, right? Like how many immigrants we're competing with. So not only in terms of jobs, right, but they're also maybe raising the cost of services, right? And it also is interlinked with Caymanian culture, like, what the country used to be, what the country looked like, That's also actually, when you see a lot of the passionate commentary, like I'm sure you've heard this from, listeners calling in to you, right? Some of it is also about a loss of culture, right? That like the country is sort of being taken away from us, right? And so I think here, let me just mention one thing here that's, I would say, related to immigration, but more about, the country's identity, is that the amount of building that's happening, right? And the environmental ramifications of that. The amount of building that's happening, that's of course that's leading to a larger workforce need, right? And so Cayman, as I said, I've been coming here for 30 years, right? And you won't be surprised to hear me say this. Cayman looks and feels very different.
Oh yeah,
from 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and definitely 30 years ago, right? And I think the country really does need to have a broader discussion, not just about immigration. Immigration is a part of it. Broader discussion of what do we want to be, right? And when you answer that question well, right, that here's what we envision ourselves to be, here's what we want to be, then that itself will guide your immigration policy, your property development policy, your environmental protection policy.
Okay. All right. And I'm sure that this discussion will continue tomorrow evening and probably into the night.
Yes.
Because
I'll be happy to, if, I'm hoping that people from various walks of life, because everybody has a stake in this, right? There's not just academics, but business owners, small business owners, right? And also immigrants in the country. As I said, when we say that 50% of the population is now immigrants, they also have a big stake in this discussion. So I hope both Caymanians and non-Caymanians who have an investment in this country come.
I want to emphasize that immigrants, please come also to be a part of that discussion. That's very important, definitely.
So 6 o'clock tomorrow evening, Sir Vassal Johnson Hall at UCCI.
Yes. come on down and enjoy the presentation and be a part of the discussion. Thank you so much.
Gentlemen, thanks for coming in. Very interesting topic. We could have probably talked for another hour. You want to stay?
I'll come back, of course. Always a pleasure to see you, Charles.
All right. We're going to take a break. Be right back.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Explore your history. Explore your land. Explore your sister islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your sister islands.
Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
If you have an objection to this marriage, speak now or forever hold your...
Don't do it, Tevin! I still love you. I have since the day we stole your mom's car and got matching dolphin tattoos.
Oh, Lordy.
Janelle? From spring break, oh wait?
Yes, it's me.
Janelle, you've got to move on.
We're like the wedding guest that doesn't ruin the ceremony. CG Britke. Good like that.
Celebrating 50 years of broadcasting in the Cayman Islands. This is Radio Cayman, 89.9 FM.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back. And that should be quite an interesting lecture tomorrow evening there at UCCI. I mean, how many times have we, brought up that subject here on Talk Today? It is one that is at the top of any kind of topical discussion, whether it's on radio, whether you're just having dinner with someone. These are the kind of things that will, sooner or later emerge out of the conversation. And I found it interesting that, while so many countries are dealing with immigration matters, and it comes on so many different kind of variations. We got the example there where, he was saying in a place like Qatar, 90% of the population being guest workers, but there's practically no hope of them ever gaining any kind of citizenship. Come time to retire, well, you return to your home country. Of course, again, it comes down to values, human rights values, the kind of government you have. And if you're comparing us to a place like Qatar, of course, that's an independent country that can decide whatever they want to as to how to handle their immigration. But, we can't just do that on our own. And, it's the whole idea of how people or a country, when I say how a people look at things, whether someone who lives for 10 years in a country should have any kind of pathway of settling there permanently. And, countries like the U.S., like the U.K., and European countries also have always had the kind of policy and again the values of if a person stays in a country for so long, for so many years, then there should be some way of them continuing to live there if they want on a permanent basis. I know many Caymanians also went to the U.S., with that famous green card. Or as we used to say back in the 1960s, I'm going to get my papers. I'm working on getting my papers. And that was, to get that permanent residency visa where you could actually migrate to the U.S. And you had to go to the embassy in the U.S., in Jamaica rather, go to the embassy in Jamaica and, go through the whole interview and they give you a physical and question you to see, exactly what kind of person you are, if it's you're worthy of being given a green card. And if you were successful in getting the green card where you could go and live in the U.S., then, after, 5 years? After 5 years, then you could apply for citizenship, right? And of course, even with the green card, you had most of the rights of a citizen, except that, you couldn't vote. And you still had to pay taxes, so you basically did everything a citizen could do except vote, right? And that's, in the Western world, in the Anglo-American way of thinking, if you allow a person to stay in a place for so many years, then if they so desire that they can, seek a pathway to staying there permanently. And I guess that's what we have here. But our situation has, as the professor was noting, 50% more of the population being non-Caymanian, and having some kind of pathway to becoming, with getting Cayman status, citizenship, for want of a better word. But how do you absorb that and keep some kind of balance, right? I mean, the current system, as we have it now, with, you have to have the points, you have to have this, show some kind of means of support, what kind of job you have, if you're able to buy a piece of land, etc. Not everyone qualifies for that, of course, and they have to go home after, 8-9 years? But even those who can pass that points test, that's a large number also. And as he mentioned, people get emotional, when they have to start sharing, especially political rights, with people who came to the country as, guest labor. And it doesn't matter where you are, whether you're in Cayman. I mean, I was quite surprised when he said that it's like a phenomenon that in places where, when the immigrant population reaches 14%, that even in larger societies, people start going, oh, there's so many of them. Because they feel like they are being pushed to the side with only 14% of the population. But I guess that's part of human nature. You know, this is my happy hunting ground, and we don't want to share too much of it with people from outside. And when those numbers start to look as though we're going to have to start sharing our rights with other people, that's when the emotions come out, the defenses go up, and we start to think in a way of we're losing what we have. And you know, it's not just a perception, as we heard what the professor was saying. You know, immigration is the impact that it has. It does have a cultural impact. You do see the indigenous culture being eroded. People start doing things differently because younger people grow up in a totally different kind of environment than what their parents and certainly their grandparents grew up in. They take up certain ways of doing things, certain ways of thinking will change. And that cultural erosion does happen. And then there's the whole idea again of, you know, birds of feather flocking together, and people taking care of their own. And if non-Caymanians are in a situation, or a position rather, of power, you know, will they favor their countryman over a Caymanian? It happens. It does happen. So, yeah, immigration is a big subject. We know that. But as we heard from the professor, it's a subject in many places. You turn on your TV and you see what's happening in the U.S., you know. It's a big subject there also. It's 15 minutes running up to 2 o'clock. I got to take a break. I think we have a caller on the line. Hang in there. I'll be with you right after we get these messages in.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Freedom, Cayman Brack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
This Ash Wednesday, February 18th, celebrate harvesting harmony at the 57th Annual Cayman Islands Agriculture Show from 7 a.m. until 6 p.m. Food, farming, culture, and community come together at the grounds in Lower Valley. Hosted by the Cayman Islands Agricultural Society and the Ministry of Agriculture. This one-day extravaganza is packed with Caymanian pride, family fun, and great prizes to be won. Don't miss it. Follow Cayman Agriculture on Facebook follow and Instagram for all of the details.
Sponsored by the Department of Agriculture, Pepsi, Quality Feed, Ale Thompson's, Terra Vegetation and Maintenance, and Radio Cayman.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Well, let's find out. Let's go straight to the phone lines. Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Hi, Daddy.
Oh my goodness. You threw me out
I
there.
hear you're getting me in trouble today.
Yeah, I wanted.
Word on the road is that I'm being told on that I went somewhere without you. I went without you.
Yeah, you told me it was sold out, but you went.
Listen, I have to work my connections, right? That's called community. That's community.
Okay.
Community building.
Yeah,
so shout out to all the folks that got through with that here. So thank you to them, my community. You know, I have to be out here hustling hard.
So you went to the screening of The Bluff.
Yes, and it was magnificent. I will say it was quite the experience, and yeah, sorry, I'm going to have to make it up for you. Well, first and foremost, public apology to say sorry that I didn't also get you in, and I was so selfish to go and take advantage of that moment all by myself.
Get out of here.
But I will make it up to you. I will give the best movie night ever for the premiere at home. Right?
So was Frankie there too?
Was Frankie there? Yes, he was there. And he brought some special guests with him, and it was amazing in terms of just that national pride. And I know I told you already, but just for those who couldn't be there, but for those of my generation and above that can remember when Frank did Haven with Orlando Bloom way back in the day. I don't even remember the date of that, but it was many, many, many years ago, sitting in the cinema, and it was the old cinema. And having that sense of being able to, again, national pride and just familiarity. When you hear people talk about seeing someone like me doing something, seeing someone like me on a TV, especially like lately with all the productions that have been revamped, and you see the non-stereotypical casting of people, and, you know, you hear people express to see someone like me doing that role is so inspiring. So I remember when Frankie first did Haven and brought that here, seeing people you knew on a big screen with celebrities and seeing your home highlighted and being filmed here, that was such a precious moment in my memories. And then to be a part of that experience again with The Bluff and seeing, you know, having people there and everybody just seeing, and I'm not going to give away any spoilers because I do think it's something everybody has to experience, and encourage everyone to watch it when it comes out on Amazon. I'm in on the 25th, but it was so precious. I equate Frankie to being our own national treasure in the way that he has put Cayman on the map for this. And it's not that he didn't do it before, but he was so young when he did this the first time with Haven, and for him to do this again, bigger and better, and will benefit from being recognized and have this story told and stay out there forever and ever in the spotlight. Everybody loves a good pirate story, you know. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people do. The action was spot on, everything. And there's so many Caymanian references and nuances that anyone who has lived here long enough, anyone who's paying attention, I think this will be the true test. Talking about immigration before, but I feel like this is going to be one of those true tests for do you fit into the Cayman culture if you recognize certain things that are being shown in this movie. There's so many little elements and so many perfect little touches that are put into this that any Cayman who is proud to be a part of this community will enjoy it and feel so proud to be a part of this country.
So even though it's set in a period that is 100 or more than 100 years,
late 1800s.
you still, if you're Caymanian, you still get that connection.
Yeah, if you some of the, especially the roots Caymanian origins and stuff, you'll definitely get it. And there's big cues that you will also get.
Yeah.
Yeah, but definitely for those who are really roots, there's a lot to be appreciated. Very similar feel, and it comes in a perfect timing with Bad Bunny's halftime show and what he did in that, and all those cultural references that he put into play there. It has a very similar feel to that.
So it's like he kind of planted these signposts along the way.
Yeah.
That
Easter eggs, or whatever you want to call it.
Identifies this as a Caymanian movie. Yes,
exactly. And I mean, we haven't had, other than, like I said, Frankie's first movie came out. The Firm was the only thing that was really Cayman-centric. There's been a lot of movies that have been filmed here. Cayman isn't the primary objective of it, or the main thing about it. They don't even know it's Cayman. It's just it happened to be filmed on location. So this is a Cayman movie, sure.
All right. Well, sounds like you really enjoyed it.
I did. I will watch it again, and probably a third time. It was that good that I want to see if there was anything I missed. And definitely the crowd enjoyed it, and I know I can speak for many of us in the audience when we say that thank you to the government and the ministries that put this together, and Frankie and his team and everyone that was a part of making that happen, because it was just so special to be able to be part of this first previewing of it at home. You really felt like somebody being out there that night.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you for your review.
Yeah, you're welcome. Your show, I'm going to get back to work.
Well,
okay. Take care.
I look forward to that movie night with you.
Will do.
All right.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Love you. Bye.
Bye-bye. We got another caller on the line. Okay, we got someone on the WhatsApp line.
When will we be?
Hello, you're on the air with Talk Today.
When will we watch this movie on the television?
Oh, well, it's going to be on Amazon Prime. It opens on the 25th on Amazon Prime. Do you have access to that? Hello? Are you there? Okay. Yeah. It's not going to be released generally, not yet anyway. So you need to have the Amazon Prime app and be able to have an internet connection, of course, in order to watch it. So that's more and more of the way things are going these days. It's on Netflix or Amazon Prime, or what's the other one? Apple TV. There's so many different sources of entertainment these days that you can't keep up with them. Do people still go to the theater a lot, the cinema? Because it's in the cinema, and then you don't have to wait long until it's on some streaming service or HBO or one of those, and that's how it is in 2026. I think I heard somewhere where it was some theater chain in the States was actually closing some theaters. That's the world we live in, I guess. And people are watching on small screens. That's something I could never really get used to, I don't think. I'll watch something on YouTube on my phone, but if I'm going to watch a movie, I want it has to be at least a TV. I can't watch a movie on a phone. No. Just doesn't play right for me. But I know a lot of young people, they're happy just to, watch something on their phone, a 2-hour movie, no problem. But that's not for me. And I guess it's a whole generational thing, whether you can watch something on a small screen or you got to have some kind of size there, and you sit back and, get absorbed into, this action that is happening on the screen. I was looking through our news releases here on Radio Cayman, and perhaps you have gotten an email from the Deputy Governor recently and wondering why is the Deputy Governor sending me an email. Well, he's probably not sending you an email. From what this release is saying here, fake email impersonating Deputy Governor Frans Manderson. It says the public is advised to be aware of a fraudulent email circulating in which an unknown user is impersonating Deputy Governor the Honorable Frans Manderson to solicit personal information. That's if you get one of these, and soliciting personal information, that's the first clue right there that this is not for real. Because you got to ask yourself, why does the Deputy Governor want to know me and what my personal information is? No, he doesn't want to know. Email's fake. Let's see what else it says here. Let me just read it out. The email is not legitimate and did not originate from the Deputy Governor. Members of the public are urged to delete the email immediately and do not reply or share any personal details. Special care should be taken to avoid clicking on any links or open attachments. Digital users are encouraged to remain vigilant and to verify the authenticity of electronic communications. For trusted information on how to handle information, disinformation, and online scams, visit www.cybersafecayman, all one word. That's cybersafecayman.ky. And www.gov.ky/misinformation. Yeah, you got to watch those emails. I have a kind of policy. If I got to say, what's this? Who? What? Click, gone, delete. If it's that important, somebody will get back in touch with you, But especially if they're asking for information about me. No. That's the big red flag right there. It's 2:00. That's news time.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines.
The headline news is brought to you by Kirk Market.
With your latest headlines, I'm Elizabeth Charles. The University College of the Cayman Islands marks its 50th anniversary with the first lecture of its 2026 Distinguished Lecture Series. A Yale economist professor will speak on Tuesday, February 17th, that's tomorrow, on how imported labor affects Cayman's long-term economic and human development. The free lecture begins at 6 p.m. in the Sir Vassal Johnson Hall. In international news, according to Reuters, Iran's foreign minister met with the UN nuclear watchdog chief today ahead of talks between Washington and Tehran aimed at resolving a nuclear dispute, with few clear signs of compromise from either side and the threat of U.S. military action looming. Washington, which joined Israel in a wave of airstrikes on Iran in June, has ordered a second aircraft carrier group to the Middle East in the latest standoff with Tehran, in addition to other U.S. warships and aircrafts that have already been deployed. And the world's most valuable technology stocks have suffered sharp declines in market value this year after years of outsized gains as investors question whether heavy spending on AI will generate sufficient returns to justify the lofty valuations. Microsoft shares have fallen about 17% year to date on concerns over risks to its AI business and growing competition from Google's latest Gemini model and Anthropic's Claude Cowork AI agent, wiping roughly $613 billion off of its market value to about $2.98 trillion as of Friday. NVIDIA, Apple, and Alphabet have also seen their market values decline. By contrast, traditional companies like Samsung and Walmart have both added to their market value over the same period, lifting their latest valuations. Those are the latest headlines. I'm Elizabeth Charles.
www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back. And taking a look at the weather, it is 81 degrees here in Georgetown. It feels like 87. The wind is out of the south at almost 5 knots. And the forecast is calling for showers, and more showers straight through tonight. And winds are light and variable, and seas are slight, wave heights running at 1 to 3 feet. And taking a look at the radar, there's a patch of rain out to the west of Grand Cayman, and a line of it going up to the north. Taking a closer look in here, we got little patches of rain around Grand Cayman and Sister Islands. Don't see any rain over in their area. Oh, there's one just popped up right there, but disappeared right away. So that's how the radar is looking. So we're into our last, 25 minutes of the show here. And we got a couple of callers on the line, so let's go to the phone lines. Good afternoon. You're on the air with Talk Today. Hello. Hello, are you there?
Hello, Chalo. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. How you doing, man?
Good to be alive again.
I hear
you. Yeah, I was here just talking something about immigration. While I believe I was dropping asleep, man. I don't really hear what
Were we boring you with our discussion of immigration?
No, not really, no, because I had the phone off most of the time, man. So I just heard a little piece of it, you know.
Yeah. I was just joking, you man.
Yeah, man, it's okay. But the piece that I heard, about these people coming into Cayman Islands, and some time ago, I heard on Radio Cayman that everything that's going on here with work permits and things like that, a Caymanian is involved somehow. I mean, nothing like this is in my way anymore, Chalo. It's not really hurting me. But I feel it. I feel it for my young Caymanians, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
because I imagine how they feel. You understand? It never did really hurt me here when it comes down to employment. It never did.
Yeah, you were always able to find a job.
Yes, and well, it is who you know, it's who knows you. You know how that goes.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely, Chalo, this is what's happening in the island. Certain people come here, and certain Caymanians are in good positions here. So what we do, we turn the keys over to the foreigner and let him run it. And for sure, this is what happened. He could choose his people over the Caymanian. This morning, I was traveling on a bus with a girlfriend of mine, long time. She's hustling in Cayman Islands, and looks like she lives good. Looks like she's doing well. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And I like her because failure only comes when you don't try. You understand?
Yeah.
But Chalo,
try and try again.
Yeah, man. Jimmy Cliff said it. They all said it.
Yeah.
And when I got out of the bus, I said to her, you know, I don't know how Cayman is going to end, but I see things, hoping that we don't have to experience a small revolution on this island. But you know, the young Caymanians today is pushed. They're pushed. And I believe it could come a time when they're going to push back. Because we're all human beings. Can take so much and no more.
So, I mean, you're saying that young Caymanians would find it hard to get employment, or meaningful employment,
right?
Because they're being blocked. They're being denied the position.
Definitely, because I've seen this. This is something that I've seen. I'm not talking anything that I hear. I've seen this on job sites. And it's still going on. On and on and on. And maybe one day something bad may happen. And we'll all wonder why it happened. But like I say, the human being, you know, it's just like a dog, man. You can only take so much no more, friend. And things will happen.
Well, let's hope that kind of situation can be improved without having to, as you put it, have a revolution. I mean, hopefully we have some people in place now that are trying to turn that around.
You know, Chalo, I really have a good belief in the Premier. Hopefully I will meet him one day because I know where he coming from. I know where he coming from the great-grandmother to the mother to the grandmother in town hall school, yes, and his father. I know where he coming from, boss. So is Catherine Ebanks. I knew everyone in her family besides her. She's the only one that I never met in her family. You understand?
Yeah.
So hopefully I would meet them and have a chat with them before the end. That's all I'd say, you know. Anyway, Chalo.
Thanks for the call.
Nice hearing your voice. Nice hearing your voice again, man.
All right. You take care. Have a good afternoon.
As long as you have Susan there, you'll be all right, man. Yeah, man. All right, later. Yeah.
All right. Take care.
Yeah, man.
Oh, we lost that caller? Okay. Yeah. So we're coming down into the our final home stretch here. I guess that's what a home stretch is, huh? Final, yeah. I see Cayman Airways has put out notice that they're going to conclude their New York service and prepare to blaze new trails. Cal been flying to the Big Apple for almost 20 years now, but I guess they're going to leave it to, was it JetBlue? JetBlue goes to New York. And that's sort of the kind of thing that Cayman Airways has always done, you know. They blaze the trail. I mean, I worked there for a while, and it was always Cayman Airways that opened up a new route, right? You know, it's like they opened up Atlanta. Then Delta came in, started running when they saw, well, hey, there's some traffic there. There's some traffic. Atlanta, Grand Cayman. We can do that too. So Cayman Airways opens up the route. A U.S. airliner comes in and, you know, starts competing. And Cayman Airways moves on to, you know, open up another gateway. We have a caller on the line. Good afternoon. You're on the air with Talk Today.
Good afternoon to you, Charles.
Good afternoon.
I won't speak anything on the immigration thing. I guess that's possibly what we could say. An overworked horse. We know now we're closing the gate. Much too late. Horse has already gotten away. In my opinion that I give you. But when you're talking about the movies, and I see your daughter more or less apologize to you publicly. That was really funny. She's a lawyer, you know, so you got to remember she has a
those lawyers talk, right?
Oh, yes. You know, giving rise to two humorous things, I'll try to tell you really quickly. You know, many years ago, nobody talks about this. Caymanians were involved in taking part in movies. A lot of movies, as everybody should know, were filmed in the Big Island of Jamaica. Famous movies.
Oh, yeah.
And especially in the 1950s and so forth. And
the James Bond one there, right?
Yes, and James Bond. I watched that. Dr. No, the first James Bond movie was filmed there. But early on, Mr. Ira Walton, very good boat builder and seaman, he was there involved in a couple of the movies and the concert, Fast and Driving By. Oh my God. Anyhow, he was involved in one movie, and he had given me this joke because I knew him quite well. He used to do a lot of work with my father as a little boy over there, and he was playing a part. He thought it was a big part on sailing vessels, and I think it was High Wind in Jamaica. It could have been the one before that.
Oh yeah, High Wind in Jamaica.
Yes, and also
right?
Cowboy took part in that too. I'll just tell you real quickly, Mr. Iron, now, he had all his Caymanian friends. There are many Caymanians working there. My father got him to do them with turtling, and then later on in that day, down with the boat building and everything, getting them jobs for Connell Shipping there. And anyhow, Mr. Iron was sailing this vessel for them, and also there were cameramen on board filming. So he thought, you know, he would be in it. And they were doing the premiere showing, or whatever you call that, at the Gaiety Theatre. There are a few open-air theatres, we call them convertibles. And anyway, he had all his seamen friends, Caymanians, gathered up to see him, and he felt so proud of that, they'd be seeing him. Lo and behold, the whole movie, they may have caught a view of him in a distance. And he said he felt so bad about that. He had them there telling him, oh, he wasn't in it, Ira. You know, that's all nonsense. But it was true. He wasn't it. But he thought he would have been displayed in views and in, you know, real forefront shots sort of. But it wasn't. It was more or less like a stuntman kind of thing. you're never really showing, but you're doing the sailing and all this. And he felt so bad about that. He always thought. And he was telling me, he said, Mick, if you knew how I felt, this was in the early 90s, he was telling me this here. And then with Cowboy, Cleveland, now, from Norris Point there, we call him Cowboy.
Yeah.
He was in the movie also. It could have been another one later on. I remember there was one called Manfish there also. But anyhow, he was with the great Anthony Quinn. And Quinn had come up from below. He was to come up from below the deck. Quinn was on the deck with a belaying pin, which is a heavy hell of a thing on a sailing vessel, and belaying the sails and the shrouds and stuff. And Cowboy, not being an actor, he didn't know how to duck and all this. So Anthony Quinn hit him with a belaying pin, and he said, man, that felt like it was going to break his skull, you know. But Cowboy is a tough old soul. If anyone who knew Cowboy, there are many older folks who know who I'm talking about. Tough as nails. Anyhow, he always talked about that to me, even just before his death. But I just thought about those two humorous things when you talked about that. But not many people talk about those great old Caymanians who are involved in acting. And you know, nobody talks about them. There was one
called the Cayman Triangle, too?
Oh, that was filmed here. That was about 1977 with Steve Foster and Dirty Reed, Reed Dennis, and even Barefoot Man was in it, I believe, and the Mark might have been in it also. That was filmed in 77 right here. It had to do with a kind of fictional make-believe thing.
Yeah, but it didn't hit the big time or anything.
Yes. But I just thought I would mention those two incidents because that stuck with me.
Stories.
They really stuck with me. Both of them are passed on now, Mr. Ira, but I knew them quite well, and Cowboy. Many people knew them, but I always found it so humorous, and I think and hear about movie being filmed here. I hope this one will be successful, I guess so. And I'm glad for Young Flowers here. Take care. God bless you.
Mickey, always good to hear from you. Yeah, well, I'm sure from what we're hearing, you know, The Bluff will be a successful movie, and I mean it's already on Amazon Prime, so you know that's a big step already of it, you know, being a hit, because you know they of course saw it before they said, yeah, we'll put it on. I think we have to take a little break here. We'll be right back after these messages.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Hey, new drivers, don't just drive smart. Cynical and Inspire Cayman's Safe Driver program will show you how. Get real-life simulator training and classroom sessions to help you gain experience, stay alert, and avoid accidents. Learn to recognize risk, manage fatigue, and make smart choices behind the wheel. Certified participants may even pay less for Cynical motor insurance. Learn more and register at cynical.ky. Cynical, keeping Cayman covered.
Hey Cayman, we know you love driving, but not sitting in traffic. This Ash Wednesday, skip the bumper to bumper and take the Agriculture Show Park and Ride. Park easy, hop on, and let someone else do the driving straight to the grounds. Shuttles will run continuously from 4 locations all day. Follow Cayman Agriculture on Facebook and Instagram for all the details.
The annual Agriculture Show is hosted by the Cayman Islands Agricultural Society and the Ministry of Agriculture, and is sponsored by the Department of Agriculture, Pepsi, Quality Feed, Ale Thompson's, Terra Vegetation and Maintenance, and Radio Cayman.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back. And we have about 8 minutes left in the show. If you want to get in here and have the last word, you can pick up the phone, give me a ring. Numbers to call, 1-800-534-8255. That is courtesy of Flo. You can also call the show on 949-8037 or 949-6990. And we, of course, have our WhatsApp line, if that's what you like to use. WhatsApp 925-3261. You can give us a call and get in on the last word here. I was talking before that Cayman Airways opening up, or rather closing their New York route after almost 20 years. And they're going to be moving on to blaze more trails. Just recently, Cayman Airways is announced that they would be starting a new nonstop service to Austin, Texas. That's a nice city, actually. Visited there briefly for a convention that I went to. That was some years ago. But Austin, Texas. Cayman Airways for so long it ran out of Houston. Also, Houston was brought people in from all over the U.S. actually as a connection point. And of course now they have competition coming out of Texas, Houston, Dallas, and so they're going to move on and open Austin, bringing another spoke in their system. And that's how it's been for Cayman Airways throughout its history, I suppose. That it will open up a gateway, and as soon as they build up the traffic, airline from the U.S. that has a hub at that city will start to run flights to Grand Cayman once Cayman Airways has established the traffic that is coming from that area, people connecting to that hub and traveling on to Grand Cayman. And it's sort of like Cayman Airways runs the test flights to see whether there's enough traffic on a certain route to make it worthwhile for a bigger airline to come in then and compete for the traffic coming to Grand Cayman from that city. But that's sort of a tool that we have, right, for our tourism industry, and it kind of works for us, because if you're relying on another airliner to come in here, they may never come. Would Delta have started when they did, coming from Atlanta to Grand Cayman, had it not been for Cayman Airways testing the market there and showing that there was enough traffic coming out of Atlanta to Grand Cayman to establish a route. And it may never have happened, but so many routes that Cayman Airways has been the one that, blazed the trail. Is that an appropriate thing for an airline to blaze the trail? I don't know. Open a gateway. And show that there is enough interest in people flying from that particular city to Grand Cayman. And it's been an important part of our whole tourism operation from day one. We need airlift in order to have a viable tourism product or tourism industry rather, because if you don't have that airlift, people aren't going to get here. And Cayman Airways has always been at the forefront of establishing new gateways into Cayman when the tourism Department of Tourism will identify an area that says, hey, we think that this area here is ripe for us going after it, and it's Cayman Airways that goes in and opens up a gateway in order to bring people to Cayman. And I know sometimes, and it has changed. You don't hear as much controversy about Cayman Airways these days as it has been in the past. But people have always questioned why we have to have Cayman Airways, especially when we have so many different airlines flying into Grand Cayman in this modern era. But Cayman Airways is there. It is a sort of a national insurance policy that we have to pay into in order to make sure that we will always have that air bridge, because we've seen it demonstrated, seen it proven that when we get hit by a bad hurricane that wipes out a lot of our infrastructure, hotels are closed, the tourists can't come and stay in hotels or in condos because the situation is so bad. The other airlines do not fly. They're not coming in. But good old Cal, good old Sir Turtle, still flying, making sure that we have, an air bridge to the outside, and bringing supplies and people in and out of the Cayman Islands. Well, that's going to be it for me this afternoon. We're closing in here at 2:30. I want to thank you for tuning in. For those who picked up the phone and gave me a ring, thank you for calling. I'm Charles Glidden. One love.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways, call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital, peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.